Hey guys, Double Wide 6, and today I'm working on a tractor that's having a heck of a time trying to crank and it won't start. Tractor's a Craftsman DLS 3500. It's got a single cylinder intake on it, and I'm pretty sure the problem's a compression release. So I'll show you what it's doing when it's trying to start. The homeowner said he put a new battery in it. You can see I did get it started, but it's really having trouble cranking, and the reason for that is the compression release is broken. So we're taking a look at the valves. This is the exhaust valve, this is the intake valve, and I have the spark plug out, and you can see the valves are moving in and out properly. The exhaust valve, I believe it is, should have the compression release, so it should do a little push in. You should see it wobble in as I turn over the engine, and I'm not seeing any wobble on that. It should just push in a little bit to let the pressure out of the engine. So I don't see it. It's hard to crank. We're going to pull the sump off this engine. Okay guys, I got the tractor jacked up, and hopefully the hardest part of this job is just getting this pulley off, and hopefully it's not rusted right on there. I've already removed the upper and lower belt. There wasn't much tension on them as long as the blades aren't engaged, and the brake was on. So here we go, we're going to back this out. Ah, yeah. Coming right off. Yeah, there's a keyway in here. That looks good. Now it's just a couple bolts to take the engine off. Alright, I unbolted everything. I believe this engine should be loose. So we're just going to try and slip that muffler right out of there. At this point, I got the engine off and I have a hose hooked up to it. I'm just taking the oil out, and we'll let that drain out a while, and then we'll flip it over. We'll take a look inside, and hopefully we have a broken compression release because we removed the engine from the tractor. Alright guys, I got the engine upside down, the oil's out of it, and now we're just going to loosen up this oil sump pan here. I'm looking for a spot to pry on this thing. Starting to move now. Alright, so I can already see the problem, and it is the compression release. It's probably in the best camera view, but right in here is what our problem is. That's the compression release. This is the cam. Pop right out of there. Doesn't get much easier than that. It's loose in there. I guess the timing marks were lined up perfect, so it just popped out. Nice. Here's a look at the governor, and there's a piece of cast aluminum that broke off. Might even be cast steel from that compression release. It's wedged up under there, and I did have the tractor running. I got it started and it seemed to run fine, so it must have been running. You know, this was geared on the cam and it was spinning. Even though this is a little bit tight, it was spinning and running fine. But I got to get that out of there, and to do that I'm going to put this in the vise so I can pry on it a little. Hopefully I don't break it. There we go. Not too bad. It's a day later, guys, and I got my parts in from Amazon, and I went with this Chinese replacement part cam, and it looks exactly like the factory one. In fact, I can't really tell any differences except for this ring on here goes all the way around on the OEM one. But this looks good, and this is what's missing. This is your compression release. So it's just this little spring-loaded thing. And this is the one we pulled out of there, and you can see the compression release was broken. So we're going to drop this cam in. The kit also comes with, it's pretty nice, you get the gaskets for valve cover, the sump gasket, and it gives you the upper and lower seals. So yeah, that's what it comes with. I'm not going to use the tappets because I'm just going to use the ones that are in there. They're in place. So let's put this thing in. So I'm going to try and drop this thing in, and I took all the excess oil out of here. So there's a timing mark here, and there's a timing mark here that need to line up exact. So I think I gotta turn that crank. Let me get a vice grip. Alright, vice grip's on. Alright, that should be enough. There we go. And our timing marks are lined up. I'll show you that. Here's a look at the timing marks on the cam and on the crankshaft. Those two gears are lined up, so our timing's right. I'm going to add a little oil in here, and we'll start putting the case back together. And we're looking at the oil slinger or governor, and you can see there's a broken tooth, halfway broken there. So I slowed down this job and I got another one. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. So this should go in right here. This little cone has to sit on the governor shaft. So we'll drop this down. It's backwards, goes this way. And that should go on there just like that. And that appears to be a good fit, and the teeth are meshing properly. So I think we are ready to oil everything up in here a little bit. Mainly this cam. And this is the first time I'm actually using one of these aftermarket cams. But it looked exactly like the Briggs and Stratton cam, and I'm thinking that this is probably a Chinese-made engine, and so are the aftermarket parts. So that's why it matches so well. Unfortunately, with this camshaft, you can't just replace the compression release. Where I know on some engines, like the Tecumsehs, I'm not sure about the Kohlers, but you can, you know, just replace the broken part, and you don't have to replace the whole cam. Okay, so we're going to put back together the oil pump. Put a little oil in here. And we will start out with the shaft. It should go right in there like that. Pump gear. There's that. The O-ring. And the cap. Now we're going to go through and I'm going to clean up these bolts so that the threads are nice, and we will attach the sump. Bolts are cleaned up. I'm hitting them with acetone and ATF 50/50. That'll just help them thread in nice and deep and get a good bite. I'm not using any Loctite. These generally don't come loose. So I think we're ready to start these off. And we're going to torque them to about 180 inch-pounds. So this engine has 3 good mounts and one's broken. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to use some pretty heavy baling twine and secure it that way. So I'm going to start by drilling a hole here. I'm figuring this is better than nothing. I flipped the engine over and I did adjust the valves. They did need another adjustment because of the new cam. And now what I'm going to do, I'm putting on a new gasket. I went through, made a bunch of these because a lot of times you need them. So I think I have a video somewhere on how to make these gaskets, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and attach this, and should be a good fit. So before I put the engine on, because of that broken mount, I drilled an extra hole back here, and I used some 16 gauge mechanics wire, and I ran that through the broken part, and then we're going to tighten that up from the bottom. So for the next operation, I put the tractor all the way up here. It's on a chain hoist, and I'm going to bring you guys in and show you this wire. The wire's coming through here, and now what I want to do is just try and grab it and twist this off. And yeah, this is not ideal, but we should be able to get this good enough. And I can't really get in here with the camera, so I'm going to get the camera out of the way. I'll twist it up and I'll show you what it looks like. So up here you can see the wire. I twisted it off. I went pretty snug, and I was just hoping it wouldn't break, and that's why I ended up using 14 gauge wire. I wanted to be able to put some pressure on it. Anything that helps stop vibration should help. Got the engine back on, the electrical hooked up, the spark plug in. We set the valves. I have added oil. And what I want to do is just try and start it. If it starts, I'm going to stop it, double check the oil because I wasn't sure how much it takes. And we'll take it from there, but hopefully it starts. Sounds decent. That smoke's just from having the engine off. So I'm going to check the oil, and I'll give you an update after I get done looking at that. I want to make sure there's no leaks or anything here. So I went through, I checked the oil. I did need to add a little bit. And what else did I do? I pulled off the shroud, blew that out, cleaned the air filter. And yeah, put the hood back on. It's nice, these Craftsman have metal hoods, unlike those John Deere's that are plastic. And you'll see it starting nice and easy. So it should be a pretty good little tractor, although those single cylinders don't run as smooth as the twins. But it'll make a good tractor for someone. So thanks for watching, guys. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Take care. We'll put some links below to the parts used in this video. See you on the next one.